All right. Well, thank you everyone for logging on again. I apologize for yesterday. We didn't realize that, like I said earlier, for those of you logging on now, we didn't realize that we were only allowed to have 100 participants. There's only one person in the office that has the license to be able to have unlimited participants. And that's what we sent out at the last minute this morning, was a link so that everyone could log on and no one would be precluded from logging on. So thank you again for that. And I apologize for the inconvenience, but maybe it's better for some of you that couldn't make it yesterday, I hope. Anyway, I want to thank you all, for those of you that are actually working and those of you that are at the sites, receiving the deliveries and making sure all the food is there for this Winter Break Academy. And for those of you that are actually working during the Winter Break Academy, I'm going to say it more than one time throughout the presentation. The whole point of having a food service person at the site is to ensure that the food we are providing to the students is fresh and of the best quality it can possibly be, and everything is within date. Please, that is your primary responsibility, to make sure that the food we provide is fresh, good quality, that the frozen sandwiches are not frozen, but they are in temperature and they are fresh and good to eat. Okay, so let's get started. I also want to introduce Veronica Valdez is here, Patty Prida, I believe Elena Pernis, and some other administrators. So if you have any questions, you have all the experts at your fingertips. Okay, we're going to cover payroll, the menu, the daily tasks, meal accountability using the daily meal count record and the production record, and then documents that need to be submitted on January 3rd. And I should back it up. We should say there are documents that also need to be submitted on December 23rd. Okay, payroll. All right, the suggested work schedule is 8:15 to 12:45. Breakfast is served from 8:30 to 9, and it's simply just a breakfast meal kit, the cereal kit or breakfast break, whatever you want to call it, along with a milk. So you get in at 8:15, you get out your breakfast breaks, your milk, and you serve from 8:30 to 9. Lunch is from 12 to 12:30. And from 12:30 to 12:45, you would put your stuff away, and I don't know if you would need to do any setup for the next day, probably not. And some of you, we say it's suggested 8:15 to 12:45 because some sites might have, 20 or fewer kids, which means you could probably serve your lunch in 10 minutes and be out by 12:15. But you have to work a minimum of 4 hours to be able to at least serve breakfast and lunch. Now, if you have more students, there are a few schools that there's one that has supposedly over 200 registered. That person may have to work up to 5 hours to get everything put away and everything they need to do to accommodate all those meals. So we say here that sites with participation over 150 meals may have to work or may be able to work up to 5 hours, okay? Now, those of you that are assigned or working at your normally assigned site, that's your regular site that you work at all the time, you will sign in. It depends on the administrator, on your school site administrator. You may want to sign in via email, or they may want you to sign in via email, I should say, or they may have a paper roster for you to sign in and out of. You'll have to check with them to see, because they have to monitor the hours and then make sure that you get paid come January.
The drum line band and chorus students have been working.
Someone needs to mute themselves, sorry.
Will enter in schools.
Okay, so remember to check with the school site administrator.
It was a
See-
phenomenal show.
Sorry,
You can
guys.
all put yourselves on mute,
Yes, please.
please. Put yourselves on mute, please.
Or Albert, are you able
Everybody.
to mute everybody and then just let some of us? Okay,
Okay,
all right.
we're good.
Thank you. Okay, so to ensure that you get paid, make sure that you sign in and out. Check with the site administrator to see how they want you to do that. And then if you are working at an alternate site, if it's not your regular site, then you will use the offsite payroll reporting log, which we will send to you. We're drafting an email now to include everything that we talk about in this presentation. We will send it out to you after the meeting. So if you're working at the alternate site, you want a copy of the offsite payroll reporting log. You need to show that to the site administrator. They will need to sign off on it to verify those hours. Okay, we'll go through the instructions here on how you will complete that form. And then when you get back to your school site, Monday, January 3rd, you give that to your payroll clerk. So then she can go in and do a correction to the payroll to get you paid for those hours.
Luann, I just want to add that if you haven't already touched base with your principal or the principal that you're working at the school, it would be a good idea. I know a lot of principals do know who is working at their school, but others were saying they didn't even know that a food service person was assigned to each site. So if you haven't already touched base, it would be a good idea to go to the, go to your front office, or, please make contact with the, like I said, the principal. If you're someone that's not the usual manager or the usual food service employee, do that so that they know who is at their school. Okay. And also that way you can make sure you know what their procedure is. Do they want you to sign in on a, every day at the front office, or do they want you to send an email? So there's no problem later. Just get that, confirmed from the beginning. Okay. Thank you.
The supervisors were also informed to notify the principals of employees that would be working at their site that don't normally work at their site. So hopefully they will be aware of that. But you also should most definitely, those of you that are working at a site that's not your regular work site, should maybe try to reach out to at least the manager, if not the principal, to ensure you have access to the kitchen and all the items that you need to prepare those meals on Monday, December 20th. Okay. All right, next screen. Okay, the next screen is the offsite payroll reporting log. For those of you working at those alternate locations, this is a sample of how it should be completed. We have the pay period in the upper left-hand corner that's already filled in. It's 12/10 to 12/21. I'm sorry, 12/10/21 through 12/23/21. That's the correct pay period for this time that you're working. And then in the box on the upper right-hand corner, you're going to put the work location of your regular school site or your home school. So your work location name, maybe you're working at Cutler Bay Middle, but you normally, during the regular school year, you work at Perrine Elementary. So up here, it would be Perrine Elementary, location 4381. And then down here where it says work location number, that's the work location that you're actually working at for Winter Break Academy. You put your name, your employee number, and you'll sign it. You'll begin putting in your time, your hours worked on the second line, starting the Monday. That would be the December 20th. And finish it through Thursday. You'll total up the amount of hours that you worked. Should be at least 16 if you're working a minimum of 4 hours. And then the total days will be 4 days. You will sign it as prepared by, because you'll be the one that's completing it. Make sure you get a school site administrator to sign off on it before you leave on Thursday. And then when you return to your regular school on Monday, you'll submit this to the payroll clerk so they can put in your hours. Oops, sorry. Okay, this is the Winter Break Academy menu. It's a very simple menu. Breakfast breaks every day with a milk, and everything else is pre-made. You don't need to make sandwiches, but if you're at your regular site and you don't have enough of the turkey and cheese sandwich or the grilled cheese sandwich or whatever it is, and you have deli meat and fresh bread, everything has to be of the best quality. Remember, you may utilize items that you have in inventory. You can make sandwiches, or you can utilize other items that you have in inventory, but you should hopefully receive enough items from US Foods to accommodate this menu. Okay, you'll receive frozen peach cups, frozen strawberry cups, vegetable juice, bagged carrots, and milk. But in addition to the frozen fruit cups, You'll also receive, I believe, cranberry packets and the Cool Tropics Passion Fruit Slush. Those items may be used as an alternate to the fruit cups, or if you have other items in inventory, you may use those. Okay, Elena is, I'm not sure if she was able to log on.
Yes, I'm logged in here.
Okay, do you want to make any comments?
Yeah, for the delivery of food items, all sites should be receiving all of their deliveries by tomorrow. Board and Dairy will be delivering the milk, the crates of milk for the week, for the whole 4 days, based on the participation that is it the expected participation. Mac Edwards Produce will be delivering bagged carrots today to every site. So if you have not received your produce, your bagged carrots by the end of the day today, you are to immediately contact your supervisor in order to inform us so that we can make sure that a Mac Edwards produce gets delivered by tomorrow. Your US Foods delivery, either you've received it yesterday, today deliveries are going out, and tomorrow deliveries are going out. You should be receiving both commodity items like the strawberry and peach frozen fruit cups, cranberries like Luann mentioned, and then you should be receiving on your regular US Foods delivery will be the individually wrapped sandwiches, the yogurt, the cheese sticks, the cereal bars, and the cereal kits. So if by tomorrow, by 12, you have not received all of your items, you need to notify your supervisor in order for them to contact us to ensure that all the items get delivered or are delivered at one point by Monday morning. So please make sure that you contact us immediately. Okay, so all items will be delivered by Friday.
Okay, thanks, Elena. Okay, so when you receive, after you receive all your items, Monday morning on the menu, the first thing is the individually wrapped frozen sandwiches. So Friday before leaving, please make sure you remove the amount of individually wrapped sandwiches that you need from the freezer and put them in the refrigerator. So come Monday, those sandwiches are properly defrosted and ready to serve. You still need to, even though they're properly defrosted, please examine the sandwiches, make sure they look fresh, the bread looks good, and that they are something that looks good enough to eat, that even you would eat, okay? Also check all the items, including baby carrots, and that everything is within date on Friday. It's going to be very difficult Monday morning if you discover that some of the items are not, you're not able to serve them. There aren't going to be a whole lot of people around. You'll have to call neighboring schools that'll be open. I mean, you can always reach out to a neighboring school to see if they have something that you can use. But if we catch it on Friday, then at least we should probably have a solution for you by Monday. All right. Then come Monday, again, you're going to make sure, check your milk, make sure that the dates are good, the temperatures are good. You might even want to sample a milk to make sure that the taste is good. And then you'll get your breakfast breaks and you'll serve breakfast. After breakfast, again, you're going to get all your items together to prepare your lunch bags. Again, checking the quality, making sure the sandwiches were defrosted properly, everything's at the right temperature and within date. You're also going to take out the sandwiches that you need to serve on Tuesday, which should be the frozen grilled cheese sandwiches. So on Monday, you're going to take out sandwiches for Tuesday and put them from the freezer into the refrigerator. So they're ready for Tuesday. Once you finish serving breakfast and lunch on Monday, you will complete the production record for Monday's breakfast, and you can also do Monday's lunch if you are able to. And then you will clean up and that's it, you'll go home. On Tuesday, you'll come in and do the same thing. It's just going to keep repeating. And I can't stress enough to check the quality of the food, the temperatures, the dates, just the overall freshness of the products, making sure the bread looks good, all of that. You'll complete production and menu records on Tuesday. If you didn't do Monday's lunch on Monday, you'll do it on Tuesday. You'll do Tuesday's breakfast. And if you have time, you can do Tuesday's lunch as well. Or you can wait till the next day. Wednesday is the same thing. Except on Wednesday, you don't need to take anything out of the freezer to serve for Thursday. Unless, like I said, maybe you didn't get enough yogurt and cheese sticks and you have more sandwiches. You can, change things around. You can use items that you have in inventory, like I discussed earlier. So, but if you are able to follow the menu 100%, then you won't need to take anything out of the freezer. Your yogurt, your cheese sticks, they will be in the refrigerator already and should be good to go, provided all the dates are within the proper time. Okay, so then on Thursday, again, you'll come in, serve your breakfast, check everything for quality, the dates, freshness. You'll complete all the production records on Thursday. You will make sure that you discard any defrosted frozen items. We don't want to keep those over the remainder of the winter recess and serve them when we come back. They must be discarded. Make sure that any items that have an expiration date prior to January 7th or sooner are also discarded. And please, please, please do not freeze leftover milk or juice that is going to expire before January 7th. You will do your cleanup, and then before you leave, I think this is coming up on the next task. Yes, before you leave, we'll get into the daily meal count record. That's the meal accountability. But before you leave on Thursday, you will submit the daily meal count records for each day. There'll be one record for breakfast and one record for lunch each day. So you should have a total of 8 daily meal count records. And you will submit those records either via email or fax to Jose Antigua, and his information is here on this screen. Like I said, we will be sending all of this out to you. We'll send you the PowerPoint and any other information in addition to this, along with all these forms, the daily meal count record sheet, the production record, the payroll reporting log for those of you working at an alternate site. Okay, so now this is what the daily meal count record looks like completed. These are samples. So I've already said you complete one every day, one for breakfast, one for lunch. You'll have a total of 8. And they must be kept on file at the Winter Break Academy site. Please, if you're working at an alternate site, do not take these with you. Reach out to school site administration to have them assist you in sending them in to Jose Antigua, either via email or fax. I'm sure they'd be happy to help you do that because they're very happy to have you there, but they don't have to be making the bag lunches and handing out the bag lunches. So I'm sure they will accommodate you in any way they can. Okay, this is the production record. This is what the production record looks like. It's similar to what we used to use when we did the curbside meal distribution. So again, you'll do one daily for breakfast and lunch. It must include all the items that you serve. The total breakfast and lunch counts served will come from the daily meal count record, as you see the sample here. So however many slashes are marked off. Oh, and let me back up to the daily meal count record. When you're completing the daily meal count record form, it's very important that each number is individually crossed through like you see it in the samples here. You cannot do one line all the way across from number 1 through 14, or go down 1, 15, 29 like that. It has to be individual marks, just like when a child comes through the register and you ring them up, it's kind of the same thing. You give Johnny his meal, you put a line through that number. So it's like you ring him up individually. So each child needs to be marked off individually as you serve the meal. All right, now back to the production record. So the amount of numbers that are crossed off on the daily meal count record will be the total breakfast meal served or the total lunch meal served, depending on the meal. And then again, it's very simple, pretty self-explanatory. You'll put how many items were prepared. If you brought anything forward from the previous day. Now, milk is the only thing that you would carry forward from meal to meal. It's the only item in common with both meals. Lunch, you can carry items forward, provided they are, again, of the best possible quality. Okay, do not serve something that you wouldn't eat yourself. If you have to discard any items, make a notation on the bottom of the production record what you discarded. Now, Track Now sites, you will need to do either, we call it two things, a paper goods usage or a pick, break, spoil report to remove any of the items used in the Winter Break Academy from your inventory. So remember, please, to do a paper goods usage report to remove those items because you will not have a production record that you do in Track Now. As you know, when you do your production records, whatever you put as prepared, that's what removes it from your inventory. Now, all of these items received must be included on your inventory. And that's why you will need to do the paper goods usage to remove them from your inventory. It's very important that you keep these production records attached to the daily meal count records. And again, all this paperwork must remain at the site of the Winter Break Academy. Okay, so on Monday, January 3rd, when you get back to your school site, you will submit the offsite payroll reporting log to your home school if you're working at an alternate site. And that should do it. Oh, I just want to remind you, I know some people yesterday, after yesterday's meeting, some people called and asked about if the help desk would be available during the Winter Break Academy. Well, they will not be available, but they shouldn't, you really shouldn't need them because you won't be using the POS and you'll be doing manual production records. So there shouldn't really be a need for the help desk. I think that pretty much concludes our presentation on the Winter Break Academy. Does anyone have any questions? I think everyone's on mute. Or you can type questions in the chat, or you can call myself or Veronica, or any one of us can answer any questions for you. And we will be sending out the email shortly with all of the information and documentation that you need.
Juana, you had a question?
Yes, in my side, the assistant principal say they need only breakfast. What happened, or what did you do with this here? I serving only the both breakfast and lunch?
No, you need to serve breakfast and lunch. If you need to, what site, Juana, are you at?
Homestead Senior High.
I'm sorry?
Homestead Senior High.
Okay, I will talk to you after the meeting. I'll call you and
Okay.
I will email you. There are a couple of sites that did ask. They said that the schools wanted to provide, let's say like pizza or something like that. That is fine. They can provide additional items if they'd like. But remember, this is the child nutrition program and all kids need to have access to the same food. So throughout the district, so you need to serve breakfast and lunch. And if the school wants to provide additional items, that's fine. But you need to provide the breakfast and the lunch. Okay?
Thank you.
I have a question. I'm not working the program, but the milk was delivered